And then we're down there with cameras filming them, and then all of a sudden they realize that we're not paying anyone for this, you know. And I think, you know, there's a tendency from people to feel like, well, you're here taking something from us, you know. You're clearly making more money than any of us will ever, you know, be able to make, and what the fuck do we get for it, you know? And I can understand that point of view.
And how did it turn into them throwing rocks at you guys?
No, you know, again, they realized that we weren't going to be paying for any of this. You know, our security team was like, hey, guys, time to get in the car. As soon as you get in the car and you're leaving, it's like, oh, these fucking assholes, man. They just came down here, got all their footage, and they're going to pack up and go back to their nice hotel, you know. But that's the one experience, and like a lot of experiences there. You know, for the most part, I found people that are like incredibly gracious. You know, I find it to be one of the most hopeful places, honestly. My day-to-day experiences in Africa, I saw people who were working their asses off on a grassroots level. The like some of the most, you know, some of the most like dynamic grassroots capitalism that I've ever seen. And people who will literally find any way to scrape out an existence and a living, you know? This is not a lazy culture. This is a culture that will fight through anything, you know? Go to Lagos, and Lagos is one of the most dynamic cities I've ever been in. This is constantly moving, constantly people trying to make money, constantly people trying to find a niche, you know, in a city of 20 million people, you know. So I find a lot of beauty in just like raw human endeavor there. And I think that, you know, if they can clear some of the like obvious stumbling blocks that they have in terms of corruption, in terms of, you know, foreign pressure, in terms of, you know, manipulation of markets, there's tremendous promise there. I mean, like just in terms of the internet and technology sector in Africa is like absolutely booming. You know, you have kids that come in from the villages on the streets of Lagos who can take your computer apart and rebuild it by hand, you know, self-taught. And all of that potential is there to be tapped, you know, and they're starting to, you know. So I guess I just find it a hopeful place.
That's amazing that you only had one bad experience.
Only one. But I can say that about traveling the world kind of in general. I mean, we've been in a number of, you know, relatively hot zones. I mean, we never did active conflict because we don't, you know, make that kind of show. But, you know, being in places like Gaza or the DRC or, you know, I can count on one hand in many, many years of doing this, you know, the number of times that I actually felt threatened by someone, you know. I've found that the most likely scenario is you're going to get like accosted by a sandwich, you know, or someone trying to, you know, introduce you to their kids, you know, or take a selfie with you. And that's the world that I know. I don't really understand the world that we see, you know, on TV here, man, because that's not my experience, you know. Right. You know, a lot of good people. And again, getting back to Tony, I think that, you know, that's the legacy, right? I think that he really showed people that.